And so today I'm going to talk about the um, importing the external data, especially about the CSV data file type, and how to do exploratory data analysis using the SAS. So we are going to review the first lecture and talk about how to read the CSV file into SAS and how to create the new variables. And we are in the part 2. We are going to talk about the how to do exploratory data analysis, but in the proc step. So we are going to learn the many proc steps in part 2. So, as you know, as you learned in the previous video, we have the data step, and the data step is important to manipulate the data and prepare the data set for the data analysis in the proc step. So if you want to write down data directly within SAS program, you first declare the data and the data set name in SAS and put the input command for specifying the variables, and use the data lines and start to write down the data, and finish with the run with semicolon. And to import the external data into SAS, we can use this infile statement. So in infile statement, you specify the path where the data set is stored. So here I store the by data set hsgray.txt located in the folders, my folder sas.394. And first OBS equal to 2 means that we start to read the data set from the second line and put the input for the variables. And this is the reminder for when you read the data set. So the CSV file is the delimited text file that uses a comma for separating values, which we use a lot in R too. So it's the tabular data, and CSV, as you know, has the good compatibility, and the size of the file is smaller than the XFAT file to store the same data set. So with this advantage, you can use this SAS code on here. So let's look at the details of the SAS code. So you know that we have the infile statement, and then we have the path with the HSP where the CSV data set is stored, and there's a delimiter comma option tells that to SAS what character is used to delimiter in file. So because for CSV files the delimiter is the comma, so there should be comma on here. And the DST option tells the SAS to treat the consecutive delimiter separately. Because we have the we have in the values with the delimiter comma, then the comma, and if there's a missing value in the data set, and if you have the in that case we can have the comma and comma because there's no value on between the commas. Then to make to import the data correctly, so to specify the missing value, we specify the DST options so that the missing value is going to be read as the missing value. Otherwise, the SAS that treats the second delimiter as a unit, so the SAS does not treat the missing value as the missing value. It's just said, okay, there's a second comma, so that is the value in the data set. So that to prevent that the parser missing value is to be misread, so we use the DST options. And then you can use the set statement reads from the existing SAS dataset. So we have the set, so we specify new dataset with HS grade underscore math 60, and we set the HS grade, which means that we read the current dataset in the SAS, and then we specify where. So this is the conditioning argument. So we read the data set from HS grade with the math score greater or equal to 60, and we print this data. And then for the options, I will talk about that later, but this is the how we use the set statement. And then if you run the data, then you can check the by using the proper, you can check whether your data set is correctly imported. So also you can use the set statement to save the permanently save the create the permanent SAS data set, which when I say permanent means that it will not be deleted even though you quit the SAS. So we use a lib name C on this folder. So we have the library name on this path as a C. Then you specify data C.math60 and then set HS grade math60 and run, and you can check there. Then you can create the permanent SAS data set. So let's run this one. Select this one. So I have the HS grade, and you can click this one to run here, and you can see that here work.HS grade, and you can see the tables on here for output data. Then we have the using the proc print, you can print out the variables in here. So we print out the observations with the math is greater or equal to 60, and we print out gender, ID, and math. And we have this data set. And to save the data permanent disk, so we specify the library name as C in this path, and then we call this data as c.math60 and set using the set statement in this hsgrid math_60. We do that, and you can see that there is a math60.sas.7b.dat. So this is the form of the permanent SAS dataset. So you can access anytime this dataset, and then this dataset will not be removed even though you quit the SAS. Okay. So let's say how to create the new variables. So you can use the create the variables as the R. So you can declare the variables equal to expression. So variable can be any valid SAS name, and expression is the calculation need to assign the new variable values. So you can add. So you can have the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So these four are the same as R, but the exponential nature is different. So we use a double star on here. So to express b powers c. So in the R, we use this hat symbol, but in R in SAS we use the exponentiation. So in SAS we can use this absolute value as the ABS, square root, minimum, sum, and you can have round, log, and removing white space you can use trim. I mean, these are quite similar to what we have used in R. So you can use these commonly used functions to manipulate your variable. So here we create the new variable which is called score average, which is the average of this 5 score. Then you can just add these 5 variables and divide by 5. Then you can check the create a new variable using the proc print. So let's look at the how to do export the analysis in data. So now we are going to talk about the proc steps. So for proc steps, so we have proc with the proc name. So there's the names for the procedure in SAS, and you can put options for after you have this procedure name. So for example, for proc print, we have proc with the print, which is the procedure name, and you can specify options on here, and you can have the various statements and the statement options. So for statement, it could be you can choose the sum of variables for printing, or sum of variables to the data analysis, or any other options you can specify in this. You can specify many options in these statements, and end with this run with the semicolon. So checking the data, we can use a proc print and proc contents. So proc print is basically you print the data, print the observations in the SAS dataset. So you have a by. So it's going to be you print the dataset by descending order of the beta 1, or ID, or sum, or the var, which is you pick up some of variables to print. So for example, if you have proc print data equal to HS grade with OBS equal to 10. So OBS equal to 10 is the option. So we only print out 10 observations, and with the VAR, so we select the variables to print. So we are only printing the math variable and only first 10 observations in data HS grade. So, and also another option you can choose, you can sort this data by gender. So I use the proc sort. Data equal to HS grade by gender, and then run. And when we print out this HS grade data by genders, we print out the data by each group. So let's look at the this example in here. So we have proc print. Look at the proc print, and then proc sort by gender and proc print by gender. So sort that first. You sort that the data on here. And then if you print this, then you can see that we have two tables. One is the printed dataset from gender equal to 0, and another one is printed and printed gender equal to 1. So this, by sorting the data by sorting categorical variable, and if you print by that sorted categorical variable, then you can get printed tables for each sorted variable. And also the proc contents. It shows contents of such dataset and prints the directory of such directory. So if you run this, the proc contents on here, so you can get the oops, sorry, I wrong this bit, correct one. So yeah, you can get the contents procedure. So you can get the dataset name, and this is data, and observations, variables, and you can say details about the dataset. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the other procedure in the next video.